Yeah. Never dispose of the pen, I'm at it again, we close to the end. The older I get, emphatic I am. They try to pretend, they try to be friend, wreak havoc instead. Look at the trends, can't comprehend my dramatic ascent. I'm heavenly sent, they try to condemn. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the man. Yeah, different vision but the same goes. Big collision off the main road, that's the beaten path where my brain goes. Felt the devil's wrath off my halo. Hella stones, no Thanos. Hella gold, no rainbow. This is hella genius in my brain lobes. Hella gross as far as revenue goes. Bought me a net for these Benjamins though. You not a threat, you an enemy though. Broke me a sweat, killing enemies slow. Body offset all these feminine flows. Hardly upset but you testing me though. All of these stats are depressingly low. Why your girl think I'm a specimen though? Drones and them perks is my medicine though. There's no comparison, black in America, little too arrogant. I just embarrass y'all niggas irrelevant. I shouldn't mention it, that's royal etiquette. Out of my element, way too intelligent. Grab you a therapist, sending my sentiments. Neck full of sediments, cop me a Tesla and skirt through the valley. Drop the investment in Silicon Valley. All this cake, but I'm missing the patty. Might mess around and just move to Miami. Drums are so loud that they breaking the chassis. King of the grass like I'm Lionel Messi. I am not crass, but my mental is messy. Mud in my glass while my pencil is sketching. All these rappers, but no one impressed me. Most of them actors at labels is testing. Yeah. It's getting crazy out here, y'all. Stay focused. Let's go, KD. Take a look around you, you can find your way, babe. Yeah, take a look around you, you can find your way, babe. Yeah, I ain't talk is talk, and move is move. When I come in, bitch, I change your way. Got things to do, I done pay my dues. But where was you? Nigga, where was you? I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Hey, you the one that say that. You and me go way back. When this whole thing over, I'ma send my invoice payday. You don't wanna say that. You don't want to stay back. I keep my composure, this my kingdom, nigga, stay back. We had a couple of moments. You had a choice, nigga, own it. Your real colors, they showing. I'm real, nigga, I'm focused. When I come around, I'm fly with it. Stay moving, do buy with it. New sound, just vibe with it. Same truth and we die with it. I see it like it's an obstacle. I never sit on the fence. Nothing to me is impossible. Music of me to the end. Most of the shit is illogical. All of y'all niggas depend on what they pretend. Just think what you had. Stop looking at trends. You wearing your eyes like it's topical. Clearly now, the pain is gone. The fame is on. And they play my songs. Yeah, it's real. Yeah, it's real. Yeah, I ain't talk is talk, and move is move. When I come in, bitch, I change your way. Got things to do, I done pay my dues. But where was you? Nigga, where was you? I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. New era, I got y'all. Real gang, we pop off, no knockoffs. Open eyes, we watch out. Mobilize, won't cop out. COVID-19 cops out, don't flop now. Open skies, we fly now. New agenda, they try now. Most y'all getting real scared of the headlines we find out. End game getting real near. If you don't know, you behind now. Behind the times, government hide behind the lines. Most brands trying to monetize. All of us have to stay inside, don't socialize. Talk is talk, and move is move. When I come in, bitch, I change your way. Got things to do, I done pay my dues. But where was you? Nigga, where was you? I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe.
birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
What's going on, beaches, booshes, busters, hustlers, and yo-hos? It's your boy Papa Swollio back with another episode. In today's episode of the Beastcast is brought to you as powered, is sponsored by Everson K2, flexing on all you beaches.
It's the fucking kettle.
All right, what's going on? Welcome, fam, to the show. Hit the like button, subscribe, live on Rumble and YouTube at The Daily Swole, and of course, Apple Podcast and Spotify. Share the show with your friends. We got a lot to get into, so we're going to jump on into the first section today. We got a post on Facebook. What is one piece of advice about fitness that you would give your younger self?
What's in the box?
Let's see what the Swole fam is getting into over on Facebook. Today, we got one from Christopher Fuqua. Papa Swollio, learn to stabilize your scapula properly during exercise. Just going through the motions without defined purpose and intent will severely waste opportunity for gains and give you a lackluster chest. Well, I don't disagree. That's good. Proper form is important. Proper form is definitely important. Mobility and proper execution. From Cueva, buy more Bitcoin and don't sell your 17 Bitcoin because you heard some dude on YouTube say it would go higher than 20, or wouldn't go higher than 20,000. So, all right, that's very specific. Very specific, Cueva. Now, this is about fitness. So, I guess health is wealth. So, I guess you can say that Bitcoin is fitness, health is wealth, and Bitcoin is wealth. So, I agree. Do not sell your Bitcoin. Do not do that. And don't listen to Ethereum or Solana trolls online if they're giving you advice. Just buy, hold, and be patient. Follow those 7 pillars. The eighth pillar is Bitcoin. James says to get more than 4 hours of sleep a night. Super based, James. I agree. I've been saying and harping on this for a long time, but sleep is the most important supplement. People are getting too fancy with all these other things and additional things you could buy from the store, right? Powders and pills. And of course, magnesium and vitamin D and things like this are great, but of course, sleep is paramount. Do not be slacking on your sleep. This is a good one from Kenny. Kenny says to start lifting it alone and be proud of it. It's an early learning curve that in life people will screw you over, but in the end, the gym won't. The gym will always be your focus. You can heal yourself, pray, learn to gain a positive mindset. You probably heard the phrase, it's like cheat on your wife, not your workouts, or not on your diet. But of course, don't do either. And I agree. Start lifting it alone. Be proud of it. Again, when we talk about community, we talk about doing it for the right reasons. You need to lead by example. And I'm not against training partners if we're literally talking about lifting alone. But again, people around you, your environment, you have to cultivate that. You have to cultivate your community. You have to stop spending time with people that don't align with your goals. Some of these things take time to remove yourself from situations. I get it. But make sure that you are training and you're doing it for you. You don't need a training partner to lift. If your training partner is holding you back or you're revolving your own schedule and you're rescheduling and you're shifting things, get someone else. Do it yourself. Learn to fundamentally train by yourself. And then if you're training with someone else, it's a bonus. But learn how to do it yourself and be your rock, be your North Star. So I agree. By the way, we have an awesome Swole card. It's Real Meat. Today's title of the episode is Lab-Grown Meat is an Abomination. Straight up facts. We're talking about real meat today. We're going to get into that topic when we get into the balls deep portion. So hashtag real meat, grass fed. And that should just be real meat. Meat should just be called meat. It shouldn't be called grass fed. It should be grain fed beef, poisoned beef, mRNA vaccine beef. Got a hair over here. And everything else should just be just meat. Grass fed beef should just be meat. This hair. I see it on the screen. Where is it? There we go. Get that out of the way. Nice. Lab-grown meat is a sin. Eat real meat. Good information in real meat. All right, we got this one from Kyle Dawson. Great stuff on Facebook. The time is going, this is the best advice about fitness you would give your younger self. That time is going to pass either way, whether you work out today or not. So if you want to be jacked in 5 years, Time is consistent and 5 years will come either way. I agree. Just do the work every day and time will do its thing. And in 5 years, you'll be there or closer than if you did nothing. I agree. This is why when we talk about fuck your resolutions, it's August, it's September. September's right around the corner. Very important to understand that we are going to be talking about resolution season. Fuck your resolution season starts October 1st. And it really starts now. So how many people are completely fucking off? Summer is ending and school's back in session, whether you have kids or whether you are going back to school and the summer's almost over, vacations, people kind of punch out in general in August. You know, people go away for holidays and you have July 4th and people plan summer vacations and stuff like that. Or if you have kids off from school, so the schedule might shift or your work environment might shift if you're outdoors, you're doing things in hot weather versus cold weather, whatever it is. Maybe you have a seasonal job. But of course, we're getting back into that season where people are going to be punching out and just writing off 2025 as if it's over. I mean, we still have, it's the 8th month. We still got 4 more months, 4.5 more months of this year. So don't slack off. Now's the time to do it. Don't wait till 2026. I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years. We're coming up on the 10th anniversary of the podcast. Come on. Why are you going to wait? The 10 years is going to come. 5 years is going to come. Like, we are coming into 2026, doing the podcast since 2016. So the last 10 years, I could have not done a podcast. I could have done other things. Like there's other things, you know, you have to start. The only reason I'm doing 10 years of the podcast in the business today or coming up on next year is because every day I've been putting in the work. Every day I've been building. Every day I've been working. The time is going to go. What are you going to do with that time? Do it. Go to the gym. Get it done now because the 5 months or the 4 months to the end of the year is going to pass. Don't you want to take 4 or 5 more months of making sick gains? Richard Wyatt says, not all protein is good protein. Be selective. I'm 47 years old now and wish I knew then at 20 what I know now. It took me years to get my nutrition on point. And I agree. Same thing with food. Just because you can eat it and swallow it doesn't mean it goes in your mouth. And not all protein is created equal. Not all foods are created equal. It's not just the calories in, calories out. It's the quality. It's what's in those calories. And of course, knowing now what you wish you knew at 20 is wisdom. Knowledge is one thing and how to use it and the perspective and the contextuality is wisdom. So good stuff. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it. Can I call you Dick? I'll call you Dick. Dick Wyatt. Good name. And we got some fucking reps over from Fox Swollio. Let's see what we got here. Look at this.
What's in the box?
Repping the merch. We got 20% off papaswollio.com. Look at that. Tag in Real Papa Swollio. Make sure you tag the Daily Swole podcast. Tag Daily Swole podcast if you come across. If you tag us in merch, tag us on videos. If you see on Instagram, tag Daily Swole podcast on Instagram. Follow the page. We're posting a lot more. A lot of you might know that we got our Daily Swole podcast page deleted a couple years ago, but we've rebooted it and we've made some posts and we're posting again consistently. So tag Daily Swole podcast on Instagram if you come across videos for member submissions and stuff like that. If you want to submit a video, tag Daily Swole podcast on Instagram. So Fox says, proud member of the LGBTQ community. Ah, look at that.
We
LGBTQ
truth
shirt.
over facts.
Lats, glutes, biceps, triceps, and quads. Fantastic. Based. Love it. Awesome picture. Look at that smile. You don't know if he's thinking about the gym or penis. I don't know. What do you think? You think? What do you think? Look into his eyes. Look into his eyes. He's begging you. He's like, look at my gains. Look at my merch. Look at him. Look at those eyes. He's just seducing you with the merch. Seducing. Love that tee. How many of you got the alphabet, the muscle alphabet shirt? I love it. Today I'm rocking the Ozempic and gym shirt, of course. All right, let's get into some Swole Fam posts. Fam, are you ready for that tip? A little foreplay there. Babe, just an inch, just an inch. It's cold outside. All right, we got some good stuff. We're going to do some meal rating. I sent out a text yesterday. Rate my meal. So a lot of you are sending on Swole Text. A lot of you members, if you want to join the fam, swolenormousx.com, get access to Swole Text. You sent a lot of great pictures, and we're going to go through and check out some of your meals in a little bit. But first, we got one from James.
What's in the box?
James in the community in the Swole Enormous app. Hello, fam. I am a returning fam member. I am from Central Illinois, 51-year-old male. I have always been a fan of lifting weights. I hate running and prefer rucking. Nearly a same calorie burn, but added bonus: ankles, knees, hips, and back do not hurt. I have fallen off the effective eating and working out. I'm 6'2", 225. I don't care what my weight is. It's just a number. My goal is to improve body composition. In other words, reduce body fat. I also want to be as mobile at 80 as I am at 51 years old. My biggest hurdle in accomplishing my goal is around my work hours. I'm working 10:30 p.m. to 7:30 a.m., so evening shift. 5 on, 3 off makes it a bit difficult, but food prep is a huge help. I look forward to hearing from others through encouragement and ideas and look forward to providing the same. I may have missed some parts to intro, but can always cover it later. Right now, I must go to the fucking gym. Welcome back, James. Awesome. The night shift is a tough one, man. I don't do it. I used to burn the candle just doing work. And since then, for the last few years, I've really gone all in on sleep. I wish most of my life I've been prioritizing sleep, but I didn't. So when I tell you guys to focus on sleep and make that a priority, I'm saying that because I wish I did for much longer than I currently have been. Massive difference. Night shifts are hell. A lot of people are trying to work around them. And hey, how can I still get recovery? I work night shift. You're kind of, it's like, how do I get my foot not to hurt? And you keep on shooting yourself on the foot. It's like, well, your foot's going to keep on hurting if you keep on shooting yourself in the foot. So it's a tough one. 10:30 to 7:30, do the best that you can to get off that shift. But a lot of times with whatever work you do, that's what's available. You get paid overtime and maybe you get, extra salary and stuff like that for working those kinds of swing shift hours. But good for you. Glad to have you back and looking to help you make those gains. If you guys have any advice for James, if you're doing night shift, drop that in the comments. Hashtag real meat for a chance to win today's Swole card. Thanks for being here, everyone. Hit the like button. And you could drop your thoughts, questions, and comments. We're getting some questions in a second. We got one from Heather, and then we're going to do some Rate My Meal, and then we're going to get into
What's in the box?
some Ask Papa Swollio. Heather says, this was probably addressed before. I just haven't come across it yet. I'm doing the 90-day dash to get started. I'm wondering if it very much matters if I do the prescribed yoga or if it would be acceptable to substitute one of the other yogas on those days. I know it's important, and I'm not talking about getting out of it, just using some of the other classes to break it up a little more. And that's totally fine. I definitely recommend that you do the Swolga classes at least once or twice as designed, and then you can actually repeat the 90-day dash multiple times, like the entire program, and you can swap out yoga in the future. You can do this from the beginning. It's not going to break you if you want to do a starter class instead of the Swolga. The Swolga, those were filmed a long time ago. There's a lot of newer classes, and that's totally fine. I would just recommend that you go through the Swolga at some point, especially the first time you do it. At least do the classes once or twice so you can get that foundation, and then you could branch out and try some of the other starter classes, which would be good options. So if you're going to choose other yoga to pair up with a 90-day dash, especially in the beginning phases, I would recommend the starter classes because most of you are new to yoga. So the Swolga is designed for that. But of course, we have a lot of different variety with the yoga studio. And of course, as you learn, when you go through the programs, you start customizing and swapping things out. Maximum Swole season, you have options where it'll be like, hey, do a vinyasa here. And you get to choose your vinyasa, or do a yin yoga. And it's literally pick a yin yoga. So you get a lot of flexibility with the programming, especially as you move forward. So it's a totally reasonable thing to do. It's a reasonable question. I would just recommend at least experience the Swolga. Then you guys can drop your thoughts in the comments, and then you can expand from there. So you're not locked into the Swolga period, but I would recommend you get familiar and you do those protocols. That way you can see the maybe certain movements and certain positions that might be more restrictive, things you have to work on. Then when you do choose other classes, you know where to start. So it gives you a great starting point, and then you can focus on hips or shoulders or things that you have specific issues with in our yoga studio to pair up with your program. So it's a good question. Good question. Any other thoughts for those of you that have experience with Swolga and the 90-day dash? What do you guys think? Sheena says, once I got in a groove, replying to Heather, I swapped the yoga out for ones that focused on areas I really needed. Excellent. Nick says, I went from doing stretching and yoga once a week to 3 times a week. Fantastic. Cerny says, I started with the Swolga. Great classes. Excellent. Thank you. So I think most people would agree, do the program as close to as prescribed, at least just to experience. Like, don't just be like, oh, this is Swolga, let me swap it out. Do it. You don't have to do it over and over again. At least do it once. Start with once. And then again, you get that foundation, you know what it's addressing, and then you can more readily choose other things. Because those Swolga classes, especially the ones that are designed for the 90-day dash, are there with specific movement patterns, and you're going to find out, oh, it's really hard for me to twist left. It's much easier for me to twist to the right than it is to the left. And then you might get into some spinal rotations, and you might get into some of these other things and like, wow, I really need to open up my rotation ability. I'm really limited in the transverse plane, and then you can choose certain classes that work on spine and twists and things of that sort. Yeah, there you go. And don't forget, the 90-day dash is an all levels program. So just because you're starting with the 90-day dash, the 90-day dash is not going to build you all the muscle that you ever wanted. It's also not going to get you all the mobility you ever wanted. It's a general program. It exposes you to a lot of different types of training, more endurance training, foundational training, and then hypertrophy training. So as you go through the 90-day dash, what that does is it exposes weaknesses, things you've never tried before. It gets you on a good program. It gets you used to all the different types of training. And then as you go through, you know what program maybe you want to go through next, where your weak points are and what you have to strengthen. And then you can choose your next program. And then, of course, we have you inside the community and we can help you decide. So if you go through, and we have members commenting all the time, comment in the community section, and then you can ask advice based on what your successes were, where you're struggling, what your goals are, and then we can figure out your next program. Or if you want to progress the 90-day dash and repeat it, which you can do relentlessly and over again if you want. Just how you manipulate it. All right. Good stuff. We will get into some questions in a second, but first we got a new section. It's Rate My Meal. Very nice. Yeah, look at this guy. All right, let's get into some food. So I sent out a Swole text, and of course, only members get access to Swole text, so make sure you sign up, swolenormousx.com, join the fam, download the Swole Enormous app, and in the US and Canada, you'll get access to Swole text. So Rate My Meal. I wanted to see what's on your plate, and we're going to go through and we're going to voice our opinions. You guys can drop your thoughts in the comments. If you have not yet responded to that email, make sure you, or that Swole text, make sure that you send that picture in. We'll get to some more in the next couple days. So we got here first. First one is from Joe. All right, what we got here, Joe. Joe says air fryer pork chops, white rice with some peas and carrots. I need some soundboards like the whomp, 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 peas and carrots. All right. Joe said the C word. Joe said the C word, so he gets some. All right, good man. That's a solid meal. That's a solid meal. I'm not going to be too harsh on this. This is the first time we're doing the meals. Rate my meal. I'm not going to be like, boo. I'm not a fan of carrots. I'm not a fan of carrots and peas there, but get that meat in there. Good stuff. White rice, air fryer. I don't use an air fryer, but respect. Good for you. Good for you. Mark says lost points for the veg. It's all right. It's all right. We want to be optimistic. We want to be positive. I'm not going to really harp on a couple of, couple carrots. And I really like the descriptions too, because you know what? That's what we need to do. So when you send that picture, actually tell me what it is, because sometimes I can't tell exactly what it is. So let's bring this one. Coda, what do we got here? Looks like we got some steak. Is that some watermelon on the side? I'll take it. I'm looking at rice, and it looks like some yellow and red peppers. All right, golf clap. Not bad. I like the melly. Steak and rice. Some peppers there. Okay, Coda. Coda in the house. Next one, we got Megan. What we got here? Brisket. Megan says brisket with strawberries for lunch. Look at that meat and fruit gang. The rub on the brisket was salt, pepper, onion, garlic, ground thyme, and ground mustard. Ooh. Brisket's good. Now understand that when you cook, there's a lot of different cuts of meat. I know we talk a lot about ribeye and I like ribeyes because it's standard steak. Yeah, it's more expensive, but if you get half a cow or a full cow or you get different cuts, there's a lot of different cuts on the cow that are delicious. So as you learn how to cook, go into the recipe archive, go into the app and try a different recipe, learn how to cook. So if you're cooking everything the same way, sometimes the meat needs to be marinated. Sometimes it needs to be put in a crock pot. Sometimes it needs to be a slower cook so it's not too chewy. So learn how to cook these different things and you can get a lot more out of the cow. You don't always have to buy ribeye because it can get pricey, of course. So I'm not saying you have to eat ribeyes every night. You can do ground beef. You can do burgers. You can do meatballs. You could do different stuff. But you have to learn how to cook. And a lot of times people, they have a bad experience with certain types of meat or certain cuts of meat because they put on the stove and they cook it the same way they did a ribeye and it's like tough and chewy. And I don't like this meat, or there's no flavor because you're supposed to marinate it and soak it longer because it's leaner and tougher. So you got to learn how to cook. You get a lot of meals and you have a lot of different options. And once you learn how to cook more, you can out of one type of meat, you can make 5 different meals. It depends on how you cut it and what you add to it and things like that. All right, let's see. We got 2 more. This one, I got no description, so maybe we need some help with the Swole fam. It's from Robert. And what do we got here? I see greens on the plate. I see a salad. It looks like potato wedges. All right, I'm a fan of that. I got my glasses down so I could see it. What do we got going on here? Are those eggs and tomatoes? What's that? What's that? What do you guys think that is? Looks like tomato on some sort of chicken parm or egg or cheese on something. What do you guys think that is? Let me know what you think. I see some potato wedges and I see some grass on the plate. I'm not sure exactly what that is. Looks like tomato. This is why when you guys are putting the actual, like, listing out what you eat, I appreciate that because sometimes I can't. It's an omelet? Is that an omelet? That could be an omelet. Could be an omelet. Sheena says, looks like toast with tomatoes and cheese. Could be. It's hard to rate this one. Hard to judge this one. Looks pretty good. A fried green tomato egg omelet. All right. We got some opinions here. We don't know exactly what it is, so we're keeping an eye on Robert. Sourdough bread? Could be sourdough bread. All right.
What's in the box?
All right, we got one more. This is juicy. This is juicy. Ryan took a picture of a big ol', was that a bull? That's a big old baby. That's a big boy. And it says he just doesn't know it yet. So someone's eating big.
Hi, puppy.
We choose truth over facts.
This guy doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to cook him up. I'd love just to choose your own cow. Which one do you want to eat? I want to eat that one. Imagine picking your own cow and it's just for one steak, slaughtering on the spot. Nice. Nice. He deserves to be consumed. Good stuff. All right. Remember, check out swolenormousx.com. Join the fam today. Put this on the screen if you haven't yet. App Store, Google Play. Download the Swolenormous app. Join us over at swolenormousx.com. Get access to Swole Text, the private community, all of our programs, yoga, meditation, thousands of recipes inside the app. We have everything you need to go through your elimination diet and so much more. We'll help you make sick gains and eat some delicious steak while you're at it. Join us, swolenormousx.com. And of course, we were talking about merch earlier. We got the Muscle Alphabet merch. We also have the brand new drop on Monday. I Heart Gym. Look at that. papaswolio.com. We got 20% off the entire site, and we have some imminent release. We're about ready to launch Bull Cream, Scalp Seed, and Mane Gains. Really excited for that to be officially available, and members will get first dibs, so stay tuned for the announcement. You'll get that first pre-sale option, and it's coming soon, so stay tuned. Awesome stuff over there on the website. We got a lot of stuff brewing. A lot of stuff brewing. Let's get into some questions. Fam, are you ready? Are you ready? Hashtag Ask Papa Swollio in the comments. So if you dropped a question earlier, I'm going to try to find it. So if I miss it, drop the question in the comments again. I see one from Sterling earlier, so we'll take this one first. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, drop a comment down below if you're watching after, share with your friends. The only podcast guaranteed to help you make sick fucking gains. And of course, today's Swole card is real meat. So drop that in the comments down below for a chance to win today's Swole card. From Sterling, Papa Swollio, regarding creatine, is there any benefit to take more than 5 grams for maintenance after you're saturated? Been using for over a month. Presumably my muscles are fully saturated at this point. Well, there's a lot more research that comes out, that has been coming out, showing that higher levels of creatine consumption is beneficial. Tons of psychological benefits, especially if you're under stress. So I've been saying for a while, I take 10 to 20 grams a day. I took 10 this morning. And if I'm training, I'll usually take more. So I take anywhere between 10 and 20 grams a day. So yeah, there's definitely benefits to taking more than 5 grams. And I would recommend go from 5 and then take 10. Split it up over 2 doses and see how you feel. And then you can experiment with more. And maybe under times of sleep deprivation or extra stress, you can try different amounts of creatine. But always start less and then add more, and then see where that benefit kind of tapers off and feels good for you, and then stick to that. But there's definitely more benefits to taking more than 5 grams a day, and that's been coming out more and more. I've been taking creatine consistently for 25 years or so, ever since I started lifting. Actually, even earlier than that. I've been taking it since the late 90s, so I've probably been taking it for like 26, 27 years. And they used to say you have to take 20, 30 grams a day and then taper off. You don't have to load. You could just take more and more often. So start less and then increase and see how you feel. Mark, Papa Swollio, when doing dips, should I roll my shoulders back before performing them or no? Well, it depends on what you're trying to hit. And yeah, you should have your shoulders neutral. You don't have to be retracted. You shouldn't be rounded forward. But if you want to hit your chest more, you can put your feet back up. So you're kind of doing like a deep push-up, or tuck your knees forward so you can lean forward. If you lean forward more, you get a little bit more chest. So you should always have good form, and it really depends on what area you're trying to hit and adjusting your lean so you're hitting more chest or you're hitting more shoulders and triceps. Because for a dip, you're getting shoulder flexion, you're getting elbow extension, and because whenever you're getting shoulder flexion, you are going to be getting you're getting shoulder flexion, you're getting a little bit of humeral adduction, you're going to get some chest. And if you're leaning forward more, it's more like a deep push-up. So you put your feet back on a bench or hook them on something, or someone's holding your feet, or you're leaning forward more, you'll get a little bit more chest there. Nick says, I've been taking creatine at 10 to 20 grams a day. For 3 years, my blood work showed my kidney and liver function are perfect. I find it funny that people claim creatine causes kidney issues. Yeah, I haven't seen anything. You've always heard that. And people saying, you're going to store all this water, you're going to retain all this water, you're going to have all these issues with your kidneys. I think most people, if they have kidney issues and they happen to be taking creatine, it's really because of all the other shit they're eating. They're probably eating way too many vegetables or kale or spinach. A lot of times people are eating vegetables that actually bind and limit absorption. So when you're eating or you're not eating enough meat, like for example, the more meat and people that go more carnivore, you need less of other things, right? If you have more sodium, you need more potassium because you need electrolyte balance. If you eat more meat, you need if you eat more meat, you need less vitamin C. There's different substrates and different energy systems that your body uses and will lean more towards. Unfortunately, there are a lot of foods that can cause inflammation, and a lot of these are plant-based foods. But one of the issues that people find, or that I'm trying to encourage you guys, is not necessarily that you need objectively X amount of every micronutrient, but a lot of them work synergistically. So if you take one, or you have more of one thing, you want more of another to balance it out, or you eat less of that other thing. So it's really important just to keep in mind the context of what you're consuming. And a lot of times people that have issues, right, you'll say that red meat is bad. Red meat causes heart disease. But where are those studies? What are people eating? They're smoking cigarettes. They're consuming a lot of high fructose corn syrup. They're eating a lot of fast food. They're eating meat, but they're eating low quality meat. And they're eating a lot of other garbage with it. So you have to take into context a lot of the lies or the distractions in the complex systems. A lot of people have existing kidney issues. Yeah, if you have kidney issues, is it the cart or the horse? Are you eating a lot of elements that are calcifying, that are creating issues inside the body, that are damaging the kidneys? And then you just happen to be taking creatine and you have compromised filtration systems and issues from other things that you're eating. Which one's actually the cause? Do you have already compromised kidney function? Then you're also taking creatine, which is causing more problems because your kidneys aren't functioning properly. So you need things in context. It's very important to check it out and see how you're working and see what works best for you and what your situation is. Zilla Majestic. Papa Swollio, this is Alex. Cool. I'm starting to deal with some eye strain, so I'm looking to blue light glasses. Any specific one you recommend? I like the Aviator Fit with the ones you use. Yeah, we're looking to sell these. These aren't made anymore, this actual brand, but I would recommend getting blue blocking glasses. Is great, especially when I'm staring at a lot of screens. I like this. Driving at night, it's great. That way I can block out a lot of the fluorescence or the LEDs or the high intensity discharge lights. The HIDs are brutal on the highway. LED lights are brutal. And all the blue lights inside the house, turning them off at night, red light. But if you're staring at screens a lot, very important. Very important. Also the brightness on your phone, turning into red mode or black and white later in the day. Fantastic. Red mode is great. Let's see. Question from Instagram. You could drop more topics or follow up on anything we've talked about live. Hashtag Ask Papa Swollio. Matt Blanchard. What's the best gym to go to? The one that you go to. There is no best gym. Go to a good strength training gym. and go regularly. Somebody, 1884, CrossFit, thumbs up or thumbs down. I'm actually not going to give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. Generally, I'm not a big fan of CrossFit, so I'm leaning more towards a thumbs down. I just don't. When someone says CrossFit, it really depends on what you're doing and what you're clarifying as CrossFit, like classic CrossFit or something you're doing on your own. There's applications. Remember, you're going to get the adaptations for whatever training that you do. You know, if you're a firefighter or a police officer, you should be doing some heavy sandbag stuff and drags. You're going to have to drag someone out. You're going to have to drag people out of a building or lift them up on your back. You need to train for what you need to do, right? For those adaptations and for those modalities. So whatever you're doing for training is what you're going to be able to perform well at. If you lift heavy weights, you're going to build muscle, you're going to get stronger. If you do yoga and mobility, you're going to improve your mobility and your flexibility. If you do cardiovascular training, you're going to improve your cardiovascular capacity. So it depends on what you're trying to do physically, aesthetically, for your work, for longevity. These are all different factors. So there's many different factors. It's not just one thing. They all take you down different paths, and sometimes there's crossover. So periodization is very important, and CrossFit doesn't have quality programming, so we'll leave it there. Buvan Teha Chekuri. Papa Swole, I want to gain weight, but I'm not getting hungry. That does not matter. That does not matter. Not the wanting to gain weight, but you need to eat before you're hungry. You're trying to eat in a surplus. You're trying to get enough food in. You need more frequent meals. It's about eating the food that you're required to eat. Now, understand that you don't have to be in a crazy surplus. You don't want to try to put on fat. You don't want to gain weight. You want to build muscle. Unless you just want to get fat, then you just eat more. But if you want to build muscle, stimulus, not excessive overconsumption, maybe a slight surplus, getting enough protein in, making sure you're increasing your calories as you put on lean mass and as you get stronger. Make sure you're getting stronger, adding weight and reps over time. Gradually increase your consumption and your intake. Weigh it, measure it, get an idea of what you're eating, be consistent with that, slowly up it over time, and you will grow. I guarantee it. You will objectively grow. Theus is me, baby. Theas me, baby. Thees me, baby. Hey, Papa Swollio, how do you... Hey, Papa Swollio, how do you prevent protein farts? Reduce protein on rest days? Question mark. It's probably... If you're getting protein farts, it's probably because you're not digesting the food properly, or eating excessive amounts of certain things, or your chronic inflammation. The reason why a lot of people have these issues is because they're consuming ultra-processed protein with all these flavorings and artificial sweeteners, and their gut biome's jacked up. You know, a lot of times, remember, you're populating your gut. When you're eating certain foods, you're populating your body. Your gut is just tons of billions and trillions of bacteria. So the bacteria that you feed is going to create the balance in your gut, and it's going to be what digests your food. If you're throwing random shit in there or excessive amounts of certain things, you're missing out certain nutrients, you're going to have an imbalance in your gut. You shouldn't just be like shitting yourself and farting all the time. That's not something that's normal. That's something that's accepted in fitness because people are pounding excessive protein. And I think that's also an issue, is excessive consumption of protein, over focus on protein. You don't need like 2 or 3 grams per pound of body weight. People are eating 3, 4, 500 grams of protein a day. It's way too much. It's way too much. All right. Remember, your body needs the stimulus. Stimulus comes first. Otherwise, you're not going to build muscle. And then eating sufficiently to repair, but not excessively that you're putting on extra body fat. So you have to toe that line, and most people overconsume protein. Good starting point, 0.8 grams per pound of body weight. Okay, let's see here. Maine Marshall, Papa Swollio. Do you think I will eventually limit my ultimate potential? My ultimate potential. If I only continue to have equipment for compound lifts and dumbbells. How do you mean? If you only do like bench, row, and dumbbell work, like if you don't use machines or cables? Maybe yes and no, depending. Like if you're increasing in weight, you could build tons of muscle and continue to build muscle and do great with compound movements and dumbbells only. You don't need machines. Most of my career and most of my lifting was done with free weights. And then I leaned more towards machines and stuff like that more recently. So I think novel stimulus is important. I think mixing things up as needed is important, but you need less variety than you think you need. Most people add too much variety and they don't have enough time for adaptation. So most people are changing up their programming, they're changing their exercise, they're mixing things up too much, and that negatively affects their progress because they're always adding a novel stimulus and their body doesn't have enough time to adapt to anything. So the goal is to adapt and then build muscle as you scratch and claw for additional reps and weight, and you adjust the volume as needed and target different areas. So most people should focus on the basics for years. You don't need fancy stuff. A lot of these kids online that you'll see on TikTok or Instagram, they're doing all these fancy isolation exercises and putting their elbows in straps and doing all this weird shit that's just, they're not going to build muscle as efficiently, and they're not training hard. More people need to train harder with the basics and be more patient and not get too fancy. Don't get too fancy with your training. Lift heavy, be ruthless, and focus on the daily habits. It does take time, and you just got to be obsessed with the details. And the more attention you give to the details and the more effort you take in executing properly and doing the best with what you have, it'll give you more options as you access more things in the future. So if you master compound movements and dumbbells, that's great. And then you can always add things to your repertoire as you change, or as you change gyms and now you have more access to better equipment, and then you start adding in some different things. Just be mindful of how much you add and how many different new things you add at a given time. So if I'm doing a different workout protocol or a different split, or I'm adding in a new machine, I factor that in. I try to keep more things consistent than I do change, but I do implement change and I rotate exercises through on a weekly or bi-weekly basis where, every other work, I won't do the same leg workout 3 times in a row, but I'll maybe keep certain exercise the same, or certain things are good for convenience, or I'll swap one thing in, I'll bring one new exercise in and I'll do that, on this workout. And then in a couple sessions, I bring it back in, but I'm generally keeping the same exercises in a rotation for a few to several weeks. And then I'll bring something else in and ditch something else. But a lot of times they're similar movements, so it's not like a complete novel stimulus, and I'm also not doing 5 or 6 sets with an exercise, so I'm not causing excessive damage to an area. And if you're doing something from a lengthened position or something you haven't done, understand that there's an exercise. I've been getting stronger. I've been feeling great, but I went back to a incline press machine I haven't used in a while. My weights went down a bunch, but it's really just the neurological adaptations and the movement and the pressing. It's just, I haven't done it in a while. So my strength will come back pretty quickly, and then I'll start seeing some of those benefits from adding in a new exercise soon. It doesn't happen right away. You just get sore maybe for a new movement, but that soreness doesn't mean you're growing. It just means like, wow, you hit these areas, different tension, different workload, different X, Y, and Z, and then your body will adapt. You'll get more motor unit recruitment, and then eventually you won't get as sore from the movements. And then you're really starting to make more progress. That's when you really start building muscle, not at the beginning, that initial soreness or that initial stretch, or like, oh my God, I'm so sore. I never did that exercise before. That's not growth. That's just swelling and inflammation, maybe stretch, other types of mechanical adaptations or shock reaction to a new movement. Vlad Vandia, Papa Swollio. How many reps? That depends. You could build muscle with a wide variety of reps. Vague question. Sterling, how important are isolation exercises? I very much prefer dumbbells, but I like the free bit where I need to control the weight. How important are isolation? Isolation is very important. You do both. So how important? They're great. It depends on the context of your program. That's like saying I'm not doing curls. So you could do back movements and pulling movements. You're not really hitting your biceps that much. You're getting some, but you're not targeting your biceps. So what are you trying to build? What's your split like? What are you trying to focus on? All right, Rain. Papa Swollio, I want to start running again. Will running 5 miles once a week lose peach and leg muscle? You want to start 5 miles once a week. 5 miles once a week isn't going to do shit. You're better off running 1 mile 3 times a week than 5 miles once a week, by the way, in my opinion. Will it lose peach and leg muscle? Well, you're going to add fatigue. Remember, it's the adaptation. You're not lifting weights. You're not creating a stimulus. You're not creating mechanical tension. So it's not going to help you build muscle. it's good for your cardiovascular. You can go for a walk. You can do walking on an incline. You can do some sprint intervals. I don't know. What's your goal? Running 5 miles once a week isn't going to get you much of anything, period. To be honest, you're better off walking every day instead of running 5 miles once a week. Just my opinion, in conjunction with a weightlifting program. All right. Last chance for questions. Let's see. We'll take this one. Marshall, Papa Swollio, do you think it would be okay to do sprints once and maybe twice a week while doing 90-day dash and eventually maximum swole? Would it be okay? Sure. It depends on your recovery. If you're recovering, then it's okay. Just remember that anything you add is fatigue. Any kind of effort and energy and expenditure is fatigue. So you want to make sure you're managing your fatigue. So again, what are your goals? And make sure that that supplements your weight training. It doesn't take away from it. So whatever you're prioritizing, make sure you wrap around that. A lot of people are trying to be like, hey, I'm going to try to increase my cardio, increase my strength, increase my speed, increase my agility, You're trying to work on too many adaptations at once. You could have different phases of training, but you have to make sure that where your energy is focused, you only have so much energy and you only have so much stimulus you can provide. Where do you want to focus that attention? Where do you want to focus those adaptations and focus on that? Where you spread yourself out wide, you're trying to do tons of cardio and tons of lifting, and you're just going to get injured and not make much progress anywhere and be wiped out and wonder why you're not seeing progress. Most of the progress that people want physically is going to come from lifting and nutrition, training hard, nutrition. And then you do your general cardiovascular stuff for health, walking, mental health, recovery, just good for your body, sauna, stuff like that. Some people really like to focus on cardio and they're looking at lifting to supplement them running more or running better. Everyone's got their preference. That's just not where I focus my attention. All right. Ready? Let's go into some balls deep. Let's go.
That's deep.
All right, let's get into this first one. This one is titled Weird Exercise. All right, so if you're going to the gym,
What's in the box?
if you're going to the gym and you see this, what do you do? What do? You walk into the gym. I know you guys have seen some really weird shit in the gym. We can go down that rabbit hole. Maybe I'll send out a Swole text asking you guys what's the weirdest thing you ever saw in a gym. But check out this exercise. What happens if you go in, you want to do a leg press machine, and you see this happen? I'm muting that a little bit. Make it really quiet. If you're just watching, it's like a contortionist and her face. All right, I'm going to pause it right there. I really hope she wiped down the machine. I really hope she wiped down the machine.
Who told you to keep my cookies?
Before she put her face right where everyone rubs their sweaty taint. So I really hope she wiped down that machine. That's a lot of flexibility. That's a lot of flexibility. This is like an extreme sissy squat. You have this sometimes. You get people that are contortionists and they'll put their legs up on the pec deck and they're like doing a split. It's like, oh, look at me. Check out my OnlyFans. But man, to put your face and your tits and all that stuff just face down in the taint sweat. My goodness. Good form. Good form. Look at that. Look at that. It's great for the quads. Ugh. Oof. Why does your breath smell like taint? Why does your breath smell like taint? Wild. Wild. That is how you get the pink eye. All right.
What's in the box?
Ooh, what we got here? Drama. We got drama in the house. This one's titled Cardi B Drama. I have not heard of this yet. It says Cardi B addresses fat phobia backlash over 3XL merch joke. 3XL. What we got here? Let's play this.
He got into it on social media, and this is all because she was joking around online. Now she had this merch that sold out, and a lot of the 3Xs sold out before anything else. They sold really fast.
Right.
So she was just calling her fans, you fat MFers. You know, you bought all those 3X so fast. And she's saying it was an innocent joke, right? Because people talk about her BBL all the time.
Right.
They say things about her all the time. So it was like a joke kind of between her and her fans. Well, one of her followers got upset about it. And this woman, Samira, and she's a model. And she just went on to...
She's a big model.
Yeah, she is a plus size model.
Nice.
And she said, just because people joke about her doesn't mean you have to make fat phobic comments. Here's what she said.
Maybe the reason why people feel so comfortable making fun of your BBL is because you do not command the respect that you so seek. Maybe if you stop using fat people at the expense of jokes, then people wouldn't do the same for your BBL.
Ugh.
All right. Well, Samira then posted.
Pause it here. Didn't people say that her BBL smelled? Wasn't that the thing that people were trolling online? I think I saw this on X. Some of people that were dating her said that it smelled. Is that really a thing? I've heard people say that it smells because you're injecting fat and it's like rotting back there. I don't know if that's true, but that's disgusting. If it smells bad. Butt lifts are gross, by the way. It's gross.
When I spoke about Cardi B's
can't have fat jokes no more.
I did so respectfully with the hope of encouraging her to think about the impact of her words on her plus size fans. Her choice to respond by
Blah, blah,
telling me
blah.
to shut the F up and to calm my vagina was vulgar, dismissive, and escalated the issue entirely. I am no stranger to fatphobic harassment in my comments and DMs. She then said that she was taking a break from social media. Cardi B, though, is saying she doesn't want to apologize for this.
Pause. Every time someone has something, you can tell when these people crash out or they can't handle what they say. I'm taking a break from social media. Oh, you're such a baby. I'm taking a break. Don't say shit or don't post. You don't need to take a break. Just keep posting. Just stop looking at it. I've never said that. I'm taking a break from social media. Just put down your phone. There's your break. Just have your people post stuff for you. You don't have to look at it. There's your break. You don't have to stop. I'm going offline. Get off your phone. I'm always on break from social media. As much as we post, yeah, I'm not on it. I'm not on my phone much. Get off that shit. Just put it down. You're off social media.
She said, calm down, and she's not going to be reading a book on the matter. But what she did say was maybe the situation could be solved a different way. So
It was just a joke.
yeah, it is. But I guess the way the woman was kind of addressing her and then her response, because the woman was like, I was addressing you respectfully.
Yeah, I understand that, but everything is so ultra sensitive now.
It is.
Like, you just can't say anything no more.
And I understood that it was a joke, but
Right.
you know,
Damn.
people do get offended sometimes.
Everybody's offended. Everybody.
He's like, damn. Yeah, get over it. Get over it. Look, make shaming great again. It's over. You don't have to be afraid about what you say. Look, if you say something online, I'll say it again. Damn. Yeah, get over it. Get over it. Look, make shaming great again. It's over. You don't have to be afraid about what people you post publicly. If you're posting something publicly, people have a right to respond, or don't post it. Say what you want, put down the phone, and go on with your life. There's always going to be people that don't like your stuff. And when you're a celebrity like that, half the people in the comments are going to be bots or trolls or people that just see something and they want to vent and they just say something in your comments. Who cares? Who cares? Again, if you want to get offended, that's your problem. You want to watch the show, you want to see something that I say, get offended. Fine. That's just a weird way to use your time. Something that I say doesn't need to offend you. That's on you. Get over it. All right. Well, we got another one here. We got another one. We got one more. We'll do a throwback. And then we'll give away today's Swole card. Saw this posting and floating around. And kind of a weird, I mean, not weird thing. I guess we're still doing like the calories in, calories out stuff. Most of you probably know who Jeff Nippert is. He has a big YouTube account and this, that, and the other. And a lot of these people that are obsessed with scientific studies, everything has to be about a scientific study. If it's not in a study, it's not true. Or if it's in a study, you got to do it this way. This is the latest thing. This is what the latest research has shown. And the problem with a lot of this research is it's done either with untrained people or it's not done long enough or the study isn't done a certain way. Just because there's a study doesn't mean that it gives you an answer. It studies specific things under certain parameters with certain, population size, this, that, and the other. It might find a certain thing or lead towards a different direction that needs another study, but it's very hard to do physical, like fitness studies. It's very even harder to do nutrition studies. So anyway, and one of the problems that I'll say with people that are obsessed with like the science stuff is that it kind of gets away from logic and common sense and using your head. And I'm not saying that science doesn't have benefit. Obviously, it's a hypothesis. You test a hypothesis. But there's also a lot of things that we justify without long-term evidence that we can just use our heads and make better choices and just think like, okay, let me not jump into that. Let me not make all-encompassing statements when we don't have long-term data. All right. So Jeff Nippard posted this. He says, I'm eating lab-grown meat the second it's mass market ready. So he just comes out and posts this. I'm going to eat lab-grown meat the second it's mass market ready. Okay, that's a weird thing to say. I mean, Beyond Meat is already tanking. I don't know if that company's still in business. It's biologically identical to animal meat. It's not. Like, these are just ridiculous statements. I'm eating lab-grown meat the second it's mass market ready. It's biologically identical to animal meat. It's literally not but what are you calling it biologically identical? Let's extrapolate that a little bit. And will reduce, it's biologically identical to animal meat and will reduce suffering more than any technology in the history of our planet, as long as enough people switch over from factory farmed meats. Okay. There's a lot of wokeness and shit to unpack here. It will reduce suffering more than any technology in the history of our planet. I don't think that's true at all. I think water purification has reduced suffering and sanitation has reduced suffering more than any technology in the history of our planet. Wouldn't you agree? Electricity, that's probably done a lot more for suffering. Now, the part here that I do want to address, if you're getting into the nuance of it, is switching from because he says, reduce suffering more than any technology in the history of our planet, as long as enough people switch over from factory farmed meats. So I will give a little grace here, because if you're talking about someone that's eating feedlot beef, really like low quality beef, going from low quality beef to lab grown meat, just saying, there might be benefits to that. I don't know. But to say that they're biologically identical just sounds hilarious. That's like saying that the vaccines, aka the COVID jabs from the that's like saying those are 100% safe and effective. That gives me the same vibes, doesn't it, to you? Nothing is 100% safe and effective. Going outside and walking down the sidewalk is not 100% safe and effective. Just saying, walking down the street, going to the park with your kids, would you say going to the park with your kids is 100% safe? You can't say that. Your kid can fall off the monkey bars. You know, someone can show up. I know it's scary, but like someone can show up and shoot up the place, right? There could be a bolt of lightning out of nowhere. It might be 99.8% safe. I'm just saying 100% is just, you can't really say 100% about most things. Even the theory of gravity, it's a theory. It's not proven. It's just the best thing that we have that puts all the pieces together, things like that, right? So saying anything is 100% anything is just ridiculous. But if you're going from factory farmed meats, it could be an improvement. But biologically identical. How is that possible? When you have in your meat, if you went under a microscope, you'd see tons of bacteria, right? Tons of bacteria, different amino acids. Don't forget this cow. Think about this. And I'm not even an expert when it comes to all these different, but it's a complex system. So think about it. The sun, the glorious, beautiful sun, photosynthesized with the grass, right? The grass grows from the sun. The animal eats the grass, digests the nutrients, absorbs the bacteria, goes through the cow, all these different things, blah, blah. Eventually we harvest the cow. That's a beautiful cycle of life. You're literally eating harnessed sunlight. That's what you're eating when you're eating beef. And that's why grass-fed beef is so important. You're eating sunlight. When you go out in the sun, your body absorbs the skin, the UV rays, create vitamin D, melanin, right? Going out in the sun, fantastic for your health, mental health, physical health, all those things. You're eating sunlight. When you're eating steak, you're eating sunlight. You're not getting that. You're not getting that bacterial profile. You're not getting all the different wavelengths of light. You're not getting all these different things from from lab grown meat. You're just not. And I'm talking about the things that we can't even test yet, that we can't even really study effectively, that we have long-term, like all these different things that go into the complex systems on a microscopic level, everything that goes into real meat. And we don't know. We're not going to know. So if let's say lab grown meat is mass market ready, you do realize we don't know. We're not going to know what the outcomes of that are for like 30, 40, 50 years. Same thing with the Ozempic. People are popping that like crazy. Some people are going to have success stories. They're going to scream from the rooftops. It's great if you just exercise with it, blah, blah, blah. We don't know that person's outcome. Same thing with the vaccines. When you shotgun these things to billions of people, you see hundreds of thousands of deaths and side effects because these things are not 100% safe. And they're also not 100% effective when it comes to like the COVID vaccines. We know that. But when it's on a mass scale, there's going to be a lot of problems. And the problem with our society is we implement things recklessly. And then in the future, 30, 40 years, we look back like, oh my God, that was ridiculous. Look at all the problems we have. And then it becomes common sense. We can't be eating this. We can't be sucking down this poison. We got to stop Ozempic. There's class action lawsuits. We have, 30 years down the road, everyone's having cancer and bone loss and all these issues and Alzheimer's and stuff. We're finding this out and then it's banned in 20 years or 10 years. So these things take a long time. And the problem with all these artificial sweeteners and all these things is that in the United States, at least, it's fine to consume them like crazy. Then 20 or 30 years down the road, when everyone's having problems, we have to go back and litigate this stuff and then retroactively remove them. Why can't we test them relentlessly and to make sure that they are very, very, very close to safe? But we don't. We don't see those long-term things until they're in the population. We're like, oh, sure, let's just grow our fucking meat. At what cost? At what expense? I think it's disgusting. I think it's gross. And then he posted something else about like, looks like we're getting this in the comments because a lot of people are saying this is crazy, this is gross. He's talking about the nature fallacy. So a lot of people that are responding like, it's not natural. Well, just because it's in nature doesn't mean that it's healthy. Yeah, there's poisons that are found in nature too. But just because it's in a lab and it's not, let's say, killing animals in the moment, like that doesn't mean that's not killing humans. Why are we always trying to bias around fucking animals? Can I ask that? Why are we always obsessing around, the suffering from animals? What about the suffering of humans? What about the suffering of humans that's going to result from us eating artificial synthetic meat? Like, we're the lab rats. And people like this that are just, biologically identical, that's an insane claim to make, and it's not correct. It's just insane. I don't know what the claims are. Well, it has X amount of protein. What are you talking about? It's not meat. What is it? What are we talking about, dude? So good luck with you. Good luck to you eating that fucking fake ass meat. So that's a Matt Damon, in my opinion.
Matt Damon.
Now I know. I mean, I've seen some of Jeff Nippard's content. I don't care so much about, his training content and this, and I've seen stuff I agree with, some stuff I don't. I think a lot of it is just ultra anal. Just super, I don't know. A lot of it is kind of like, wah. But it comes down to like the calories in, calories out nonsense. If it's not in a triple blind study, then it can't be accurate. And this study shows this. You have to, I really want to step back from all this obsessive stuff and just use logic and common sense a little bit more. I think that would benefit tremendously. All right. So let's do a throwback and then we'll give away today's Swole card. # real meat. But first, a TBT. Taking it back. Here we go.
And I found out my glucose levels are not really where they need to be. And I guess essentially I was diagnosed as pre-diabetic.
Diabetes.
This scared the crap out of me because genetically I'm inclined to have diabetes.
Diabetes.
Prior to this diagnosis, I had already kind of altered a lot of my eating habits and how much, I exercise.
Yeah, right.
I'd also like to make it very clear that I am a fat person who doesn't hate being fat.
Get a grip.
I love my body, and a lot of what I'm about is fat liberation and fat acceptance.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, dude.
I did visit my doctor again and asked if she could recommend me to a nutritionist so I could find a better balance.
You don't need to find someone. You don't need any of that. You need yourself, and you need to unfuck your brain. You need to be exercising, getting some sun, which you've never gotten before in your life. You have to stop tiptoeing and act like everything is harmful to you. It's not. Oh, my goodness. Goodness gracious. The diabetes. Diabetes. The diabetes. Let's get a couple comments. What do you guys think about the lab-grown meat? Let's get a couple feedbacks here. What do you guys think? Maybe you've heard some stuff about this story. Nick says, Papa, this is the same guy that believes Hussein Farhat is natty and that Julian kid is natty. I'm not sure who you're referring to. But yeah, look, there's so many people also, especially nowadays, with peptides and these other things that I don't just think are necessarily bad. I haven't dabbled with, was it BPC 157 or TB 500, these things that a lot of people, I think a lot of these things are going to be proven to be safe. And of course, science has to come out more, and we'll see more of those positives and negatives in the future. But I'm open to technology. I'm not against necessarily the pursuit of improvements in the sense of lab grown meat. I just think some of that stuff is pretty gnarly. You know how we are with the 7 pillars. It usually comes down to the fundamentals. What are the fundamentals that you're doing, and how do you build from there, and how do you use logic and common sense to apply in your life? And it's just unfortunate that more and more stuff, people get excited and people get all kicked up about some of these technological advances, when in reality, our bodies are ancient and we have to go back to more simpler times for our mental health and physical health. And it's really not that complicated. But a lot of times you want a complicated solution because then it gives you an excuse to not put in the effort and work on your habits. Well, it's better for the environment. It's going to eat lab-grown meat instead, or let me just take this Ozempic pill rather than changing my habits. And oftentimes these shortcuts lead to terrible outcomes. Most people, when you're trying to detour and avoid the difficult shit and the habitual changes, you're going the easy road out. And a lot of times that has negative consequences. And I'm just trying to steer you guys away from the negative consequence. I'm not saying that you're going to get cancer if you eat lab-grown meat, but you might. Who knows? We don't know what's coming out. How are these things made? Are there plastics in it? Or what other synthetics? What other stabilizer things that are used? I don't have all the details on the lab-grown meat specifically that he's referring to, but just as a fundamental, yeah, it's a new thing. And yeah, I'm going to be standoffish and I'm not going to be consuming it. Not simply just because, well, it's going to be bad automatically. I don't know. I just know that real meat is delicious, and I know that it has good information. It has much more than just the protein. This is why when people obsess about the macros, they don't look at the micronutrients. They don't look at what's in it. Just because it has, oh, look at this, protein bread. It has 9 grams of protein in it. Is that bioavailable? What else is in it? What else is binding to other vitamins and minerals that are halting absorption? Just because it says it has X amount of protein doesn't mean it's a complete protein. Doesn't mean there aren't other things in there that aren't bioavailable. So it's not just the macro. It's not just the protein, fat, and carbs. It's all the other things that are in it too, and how it's made and what it's sprayed with and how it's processed. I mean, talk about processing. That's as processed as it gets. So who knows what other additives and things that are in there. I don't know. It sounds pretty gross. It sounds pretty gnarly. Sounds pretty gnarly. Just my take on it. What do you think? All right, drop in the comments. Hashtag real meat. Let's give away today's Swole card. And then we will wrap up for today, and we'll see you tomorrow. Falcon, pick us a winner. It's Swole card time. The gut biome is a real thing. It's a real thing. And that's what we're only at the beginning of understanding the gut biome and all the interactions and the complex systems on each individual human. Congratulations to Leslie White, 89. Congratulations! We got a Swole card winner, fam. Leslie White, send us an email to support@swolenormous.com, Swole card 3386 in the subject. Your mailing address in the body of the email. Congratulations, Leslie. Look at that. Nick says, speaking of which, I saw that a protein cookie company is getting sued for false advertisement, lied about the protein content of their cookies. Wah, wah, wah.
Matt Damon.
If you're eating a cookie for protein, I mean, again, here I've been talking about this stuff for a while. You see all these people that have cookbooks and recipes. Look at this high protein cake, high protein cookies, high protein ice cream. Just eat some fucking ice cream. Just make it yourself. Eat the ice cream. Don't put protein in a cookie. Just eat protein. Eat a steak. You don't need a protein cookie. You don't need that shit. You know, it's all these. I mean, I've been talking about this for a fucking decade. All these fake ass foods with high protein. Oh, it's high protein. It's got to be good. This is why people are so fucked up. And then you're talking about calories in, calories out. Maybe the person's losing weight. Maybe they're lean. Cool. What's their skin like? How's their joint pain? How's their mental health? How's their skin? You know, how's their bloating or migraines or this, that, and the other? Most people aren't going to post about that on their social media. They're going to be promoting some fucking cookie because they're sponsored or they're selling it. It's just a gimmick. Protein cookies. Get the fuck out of here. Eat a steak. Eat some eggs. There's your protein. You want to have a cookie? Then fucking make a cookie. Make it with better ingredients, but eat the fucking cookie. You need protein in it. Oh, I just put a little whey protein powder and now it's a high protein cookie. Well, it's ultra processed protein powder and now you're cooking the shit out of it. Come on, man. Come on, man. And then people wonder why they have protein farts. Well, you're eating, right? People, well, how do I get rid of protein? You stop eating protein cookies. And everything is just packed with so much fucking protein. You don't need protein in everything. Jesus. Come on, man. All right, fam. Thanks for being here. Make sure to hit the like button on the way out. Share the show with your friends. Subscribe. Rumble, YouTube, at The Daily Swole, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace, McGee's, Deuce, Magoose. Your boy, Papa Swollio. Out.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stock crashing. Like an IPO, trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now they king left and they so mad, it's like...
Yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag.
That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you laid. That's a bed that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint, yeah. What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay. What kind of game is you playing? Yeah, whoa, my shit is relevant. On topic, my melanin is popping. I'm